Hello. Have you ever succumbed to the allure of a predatory person in your life? It's really common, and unfortunately, too many people don't recognize the red flags of a predatory person. When I mean predatory person, I'm talking about emotionally predatory people. And yes, this can progress into physical abuse later on. But let's start with hopefully just the beginning so you can get your sneakers on and get out of the target zone. One of the things that's really indicative of a dominant person seeking supremacy in a relationship is their inability to accept no, take feedback, listen to your opinions thoughtfully, or accept your boundaries. These folks get punitive when that happens because you're not following their script and you're not being maneuvered into compliance and submission the way that they would like, right? You're supposed to follow their rules. And they will set up some very subtle punishments to make you afraid to express yourself. So that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I'm trying to teach you to be assertive. And I want you to be assertive with difficult people, not just when you need to have the salt passed. So let's listen up to some more of these red flags, okay? Another one is that these folks are really intrusive. And when I mean emotionally intrusive, I mean these folks want your intimacy, your loyalty, your trust. They want all your time. They want to know all your secrets. They're going to flood you with attention very early in the relationship. And for a person who's vulnerable to low self-esteem, a giver, a people pleaser who's seeking validation from an external source, this might be very, very alluring. I want you to be very careful, okay? Because these folks, if you say no, if they're genuine, they're not going to leave. They're going to respect you more. A predator is going to leave. Let the trash take itself out. Let's not forget that these folks are very competitive and they want all your attention and adulation and applause. And they want to maneuver you into being the only person that they're getting your attention from. So they may feel that your friends, your family, your coworkers, your hobbies, even your children are competition to them. That triggers their insecurity and they get kind of reactive to that in very unpleasant ways. So if they're being low empathy towards your pets, your children, your interpersonal space, I suggest you be very careful about that person. A predatory person is very often a people hoarder. They're always cultivating new sources of supply, and they very rarely discard old sources of supply. They may be friends with a lot of their exes, and they keep a lot of secrets and a lot of friends in different places where they feel like they can go through this social filing cabinet and retrieve some band-aid if you hurt their ego in some way. If that happens, please don't chase that person. Just let them go. They are telling you the truth. And so many times when we're susceptible to these predatory people, we're living in a fantasy and we're chasing this fantasy and trying to make them fit into this mold, the same way that they're trying to make you fit into their mold. And it's not going to work out in your favor with a dominant person. Emotionally immature, dominant people very often do not accept accountability for the consequences that their choices have led to in their lives. And they'll blame you. And they actually expect you to put the pillow under their buttocks so that whatever consequences that they create for themselves don't hurt too much. So they don't have to learn anything, okay? But you learn not to involve yourself in non-mutual relationships with people who aren't taking care of you just as much as they're taking care of them. And let's not fail to include that predatory people are very thin-skinned. They don't tolerate mistakes from other people. That means not yours, not strangers, not children, not pets, and even themselves. They are very hard on themselves internally, and they're very moody and punitive if they get any kind of trigger to their own inadequacies. So this is not a person that can self-soothe. They're not emotionally stable. They're not consistent. They're not capable of giving you the love gift that you deserve, which is some kind of a deliberate experience that's positive, because they just expect to receive that experience, but they're not giving it. And I don't want you to get snaggled in by somebody who's just pretending to be someone that they're not. So, Has any of this ever happened to you? Let's talk about it in the comments. I think that most people have experienced this in their lives, and we need to help each other recognize this when it's happening, because if it's happening to somebody that you know, or if it's happening to you, half the time you don't even realize that it's happening. And you might need a gentle reminder from somebody who cares about you, which is me, and hopefully anybody else who watched this video. All right, please visit me again soon as we're developing our emotional intelligence, and I'll see you then.